So the question is, how important is the inline bleed in Wurlitzer lock and cancel valves? So I'm going to go ahead and turn the pump on. And you can see we have there are approximately 12 inches of vacuum. And we'll disconnect to one side. And you see this is what would normally turn it on. And this is what would turn it off. And you see that once it's off, even though the signal is back off, it'll stay in the off position until it gets a signal to come back on. And that even though you close that signal, it'll stay back on until it gets another signal to turn it back off. That's why they call it lock and cancel. In other words, you need one, and once the signal's there, it's going to stay on, even if the signal goes away. And then when you turn on the second signal, it's going to stay off, even if the signal goes away, until you turn it back on. And that's why we call them lock and cancel. Now, I'm going to take the inline bleed, which is right inside this this hose. You can see that there's a, I mean, you can't see the bleed, but there's a bleed cup right in there. And I'm going to replace that with just a regular old piece of tubing. And you can see that it's on. You can see that it's on. And take the signal, and it turns it off. And you see now it doesn't work. You can hear, I don't know if you can hear that hissing. Okay. Now, I'm not going to try to go through explaining why it is that this valve is now malfunctioning. But what it has to do with is the fact that there's too much vacuum in this line right here from the upper valve to the lower valve, and there's so much vacuum in there that it's changing the equilibrium inside of the pouch and making it impossible for the pouch to work correctly. And you see now the lock and cancel no longer works. All it does is leak. Okay. So we'll go ahead and take out that piece of regular tubing. We'll put the inline bleed tubing back on. And now you can see it's on. You can see it's off. You can see it's on. In other words, it's working perfectly. It's because the balance, the equilibrium in the pouches is now restored because of the inline bleed.